What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the May 13th, 2023 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. We had Jackie Redmond Camp in the studio breaking down what I thought was a great SmackDown on Friday. My full SmackDown audio review already available here on the channel. Check that out. They start out the show by hyping both the new Night of Champions matches made official for the event in 2 weeks, that being the tag team title match, Roman Reigns, this is so ridiculous, teaming with Solo Sikoa to challenge for the undisputed WWE tag team titles against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and the finals of the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, Raw versus SmackDown, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. So, Megan Moran, the first interview that we have on the show backstage is with Megan Moran and the Street Profits. Now, the Street Profits were not on SmackDown. Why they would want to get their thoughts. Now, I know where this led and why this existed to set up a match for next week. But Megan was asking them about their thoughts, I think, on Roman and Solo getting the tag team title match. Why the fuck they would care, I don't know. They were obviously pissed that they were getting a tag team title shot and not them, although I was going to say, we've already seen them and the Usos before, but I forgot the Usos are no longer the champions. I mean, we've seen them and Owens and Sami as well on the Raw after WrestleMania, but the Roman and Solo thing is just ridiculous. And I explained my reasoning for that in my SmackDown audio review, so go back and check that out if you want my full thoughts on that. So before they can even speak and answer Megan's question, LA Knight emerges and says, oh, you guys got to be mad. You guys must be pissed. You must be bothered that you're not getting the shot. Roman and Solo are, blah, blah, blah. The Profits respond and say, well, we'll take on you, blah, blah, blah. And Knight says, okay, yeah, I can beat you guys with any partner. And pulls in Rick fucking Boogs. I could not believe it when I saw this. I saw someone on Twitter say something about this an hour before I watched the show. And I'm thinking, maybe PW Insider reported something, but I'm thinking it had to have been on the SmackDown LowDown. So I watched the show as quickly as I could. It was in the first couple minutes of the show. Boogs agreed, and they made the match official as soon as this segment was over. The Profits, the Street Profits versus LA Knight and Rick Boogs in a tag team match next week. What the fuck is going on here? And even Matt Camp said that he loved it, but even he was dumbfounded. He legitimately looked like, why the fuck is this match even happening? I mean, we saw no setup on SmackDown. It was all set up here on the show on SmackDown LowDown. But I'm thinking, any chance of LA Knight even remotely winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, let alone even being in the match in a month or two, is comical at this point. They clearly do not see anything in the guy. Otherwise, he would have been doing something by now. Not only is he just meandering around the mid-card in the singles division, he's now in the tag team division, most likely. I doubt this is just a one-off, because why else would you do it with Knight and Boogs? Maybe he turns on Boogs and he beats... Who gives a shit about Rick Boogs? I like Rick Boogs. I'm sorry. Not to say I don't give a shit about him. I like the guy. He's an easy opponent for Knight to beat, but Knight should be facing the mid-carders and going for the United States Championship and working his way up the ladder with the AJs and the Bobbies and the Edges and people like that, Rey Mysterio. Facing Rick Boogs? Well, what is this shit? Oh, so they made that match official for next week. They also hyped for next week the LWO, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar versus the Usos, which sounds awesome. So Megan Moran also caught up with Zelina Vega here. So Zelina Vega, maybe I missed something. Maybe there was a segment on SmackDown that I missed where she said that, I guess the LWO made a comment or something about Usos, about using or whatever. And they heard that and were like offended and thought they were taking a shot at the Usos, and that's why this match is happening. There must have been something on SmackDown. I did not watch the show live. I caught up on it via DVR. So I must have fast-forwarded through it. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't really understand what she was talking about here. She said the Usos must have taken it the wrong way, whatever she was referring to, and that's why the match is happening. Okay. She just reiterates the LWO is ready for anything, and they're not scared of anybody. Matt Camp says the Usos need this win. They need this momentum boost. They did lose, or rather win at Backlash. But they lost their tag team titles at WrestleMania and the rematch. So to prove it to Roman Reigns they're not completely incompetent, they need to win this match next Friday on SmackDown, and I assume they will. They also recap the WWE Women's Tag Team title matchup with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending against Bayley and Dakota Kai, Damage Control, and winning and retaining the titles. Back in the studio, Camp kind of teases maybe the idea of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who are seen watching the match on a monitor backstage, being future challengers for the women's tag team titles, which I really hope that's the case, just because we need one unified set of women's tag team titles with Dawn and Fire merging their championships with the ones held by Liv and Raquel. That just makes the most sense. We do not need two women's tag team titles in this company. On NXT, main roster, whatever, just have one set again, defend them on all 3 shows. So hopefully that's what happens. They also recap the Bloodline segment. I mentioned that earlier. Roman kind of getting the face of the Usos and setting up himself and Sikoa for the tag team titles at Night of Champions. They hype the tag team title match again. They also hype the face-off. Roman and Solo facing off with Owens and Zayn next week on SmackDown. What the fuck more could possibly be said with Owens and Zayn against the Bloodline? It has been done to death. Time to move on, please. They replay the triple threats with AJ winning his at the beginning of the show, Bobby Lashley winning his. They recap the AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley main event, AJ Styles winning and earning his way to Crown Jewel to challenge Rollins to become the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. We hear from AJ backstage with Megan Moran, and AJ says that it was hard enough beating Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Bobby Lashley on this show, let alone Rollins at the pay-per-view. He beat Lashley because of a kink in his armor and says that come Crown Jewel, when he wins that championship, he will have had to have earned it. So he's looking forward to that. And to close out the show here, they talk about this matchup and breaking it down to Jackie and Matt. And Matt brings up that neither man has been a world champion in years. Rollins, you would have to go back to when he lost the Universal Championship to The Fiend back at Crown Jewel, actually same show, Crown Jewel 2019, almost 4 years ago in Halloween. AJ, it's been even longer, almost 5 years since he lost the WWE Championship to, I was going to say Jinder, he beat Jinder for it in 2017, to Daniel Bryan, who's not even here anymore, 5 years ago on SmackDown, right before Survivor Series. So it's been a long time for both guys. Rollins is obviously winning, but it would be awesome if Styles won as well, or instead, rather. As far as who has the advantage, Matt Camp says that Rollins will be more cerebral, Styles will be more, he'll rely more on his athleticism, and that Rollins has a slight advantage due to the fact he's been more active lately, although AJ came in his first match in 4 months and beat not only Edge and Rey, but also won the match in the main event against Bobby, so he'll certainly be ready come Night of Champions. And they also hype the Grayson Waller effect for next week's show. AJ is going to be on the show with Grayson Waller, and can't mention their history from NXT, so I'm looking forward to that interaction next week on SmackDown. That was the SmackDown Lowdown in a nutshell for May 13th, 2023. Kind of an eventful show with, the Boogs and Knight tag team match being announced against the Profits for next week. What the fuck? That's all I'm going to say. What the fuck? We heard from AJ Styles, a big name here on the SmackDown Lowdown, as well as Zelina Vega. So, pretty good episode this week with Jackie and Matt. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out my SmackDown audio review from earlier if you haven't already. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.